let's get into Figma. Right. Okay. The very first thing uh, I think would be important to do is identify the things that are on these screens. Oh God. All right. Where's my pencil? The first thing is I have this title. I have this text button there. I have this subtitle text. I have this uh, section. Then I have this slider, maybe. And apparently it is the same for all. So from what I'm saying so far, I think with what I just said, I'm just saying it that now we have something that are consistent. So this, let me change this color now. This could be a component, right? This is definitely a component. Yes, this is also a component because it's consistent across the um, screen, and we are left with this section. Oh, I think we can do that, right? Let's get into it. I'm fired up, right? I'm fired up. So, the first another thing I want us to understand is we have a gradient background. We have a gradient background um, for each of the screen, and thank God they are not changing. I mean, that's one thing I'm just glad about right now. Then we have some screens here at the center here for each screen. So we are looking at 5 onboarding flows, right? I've gotten my checkboxes here because there won't be time to be designing that. So with that out of the way, I think that I can say we can get started. Sort of. Yeah. All right. Let's group these and let's disable the view state. So of course, I'm going to start with a frame. Um, Select the frame to my phone. I'm going to use iPhone 13, 14 here, right? But then there's something I noticed though that the margin for the screen is not consistent. Look at here. We have a short margin. This is even the margin here is more than the one for this first screen. I hope you can see it. Then the margin here is also more than this. Then we have the it came back to be reduced here and here. But I we'll just get started. So we'll name this lock screen, right? And then the text. That's the first thing I want to do. The text is lock, and I think they are working with Roboto. I hope I'm correct. Yeah, Roboto. Let's see how this goes. Yes, we have already identified our wireframe. What I did there was basically wireframing, like rough sketch. What I did there was basically sketching. So I'm just going to go to wireframe now. Since I'm done with the sketching, let me just leave it so it helps us. Then we have another text beneath that says protect. But yeah, I'll just say subtitle text. I'll change the text at the top to subtitle text. Yeah. Then I'll make this maybe like a 24. I think it should be a 24 and it should be a regular, something like that. I'm going to call this display text. Yeah, something like that. And the reason why I'm taking this approach will be very clear shortly. Um, with this out of the way, there is another thing that we would like to establish, and that is the text here. Skip. All right, like that. And some things are just consistent across this onboarding screen. Uh, we have the button here. We have some buttons here also. We have 2 buttons here also. All right, so let's do that. Then we have all these sliders. So I'll just go with the sliders first. Um, let's create. That's about 6 round it. I just give it 1,000. Let me zoom in. Then like a 25. It's 5. We have 5 of them. So I'm going to rename this to slider 1, slider 2, slider 3, slider 4, and slider 5. So that is established. Then, of course, auto layout with my auto layout command. Yeah. All right. That is out of the way. So I'll just call this slider. That's out of the way. Then there's another thing. There's the image box here. There's an image box. So let me just use the frame again. Draw this like this. I'm going to fill it and give it this so it's clear. For now, I'm not giving it a rounded edge. looking at what I have here, in fact, let me not even bother myself. Yeah, it's good. Now, the next thing I'm going to now do is I'm going to style it so that it can really fit the component that I want to design it as. And for that, I'm going to come select this text here, and with my eyedropper tool, which I have here, I'll zoom in on these and select this black. I hope the black can be the right shade that we need. Yeah, I think that's good enough. Then for this, I'll do the same thing. Select the black. Okay, that works. Now I'll auto the two of them and then call them text container. Right. Now that is fixed. All right. So let's replicate this. Let's turn this into a component now. Right. Just like that. We'll turn this also into a component here. Yes. Just like that. Then let's work on the button also. The button component. I'll say button. No, just button self is fine. Button. Then auto lay it out and let's give it. Wow, this is 52 already. Really? Oh, okay, no wonder. 16 is okay. Yeah, 16 also. Let's do a 24. Let's fill it and then give it a rounded corner of 100. Yeah, just like that. Then I think I want to adjust this to 150%. So what do I have now? 56. Okay, 56. Right. All right, not bad. I'll call this button, and then I can now turn it into a. Let me give it more padding. 36. Yeah, or 47 finally. Yeah, like that, and give it a component. I mean, turn it into a component. Then pick our color from here, and of course the text will be yellow. So that's a yellow, white. Uh, Although this accessibility is a bit poor, let me see if I can do anything about it. Just a little tweak. I think that is helpful enough. All right, now that is settled, right? The next thing I want to do is try to establish this. No, there's no point. Let's create all the screens now that we have set. So I've turned this into a component. So in one of the videos, I think that should be the video where we um yeah, the video where I talked about components and variants and booleans. Yes, that video. Yes. I talked about how to create text properties. You understand from components. So take for instance now, if I come here and create an instance of this component, which I'm going to bring inside the container here, this screen, I have to look at this section. There's nothing here. I have to actually type in by myself and say log, and I'll set this to center. Set this also to center. Alright, that is in center already. Now with this, right? I have to manually enter all the text I want to write. That would cost me like a lot of time. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a text property for this. And how do I do that? I'll come, okay, select the component, then select the text you want to set the property for, right? Clicking on the text I want to set the property for now. This is the icon to work with. I would click here, then I would create a property for it. I'll say this is display text, right? Then I can say change, something like that. So once I change, create it here now, you'll see the, okay, let me alter that text. Change this text should be at the top there. Yes. Change this text. Now we have display text. Now that is fixed, right? Then the other part is the subtitle text, and I would create a text property for. Okay, let me show you the effect of this here. So you remember earlier, I had to type my lock here, but I don't have to do that anymore. I don't necessarily have to like enter the uh very instance to go and start typing there. Whatever I want to type, I can just select the instance, come here and just say changed. And of course, it will automatically change like that. So let's go back. What we have here is lock, right? I'll just call this lock now. All right. And then I'm even thinking that probably this display text is big. So from our component side, let's reduce it to maybe a 52. Making sense a bit. Maybe a 48 is better. Okay, I think that is looking better. Right. So now for the subtitle text, let's create the same text property for it also. So would say create property, change this text. I'll leave it at subtitle. The name is change the text, the value is subtitle. So going forward, I can easily change the value of the instance. So you can see here now subtitle text. So I can just type what I have on the screen here that says protect your privacy. Let's do that now. Protect your privacy, right? And we are good to go. Now that we've done that, I think this skip also, I want to, now there's another thing we are going to have to do. We are going to set color styles for this. So we don't have to be tweaking things all the time. So from here, right, I'll just create this to be, um, yeah, by the way, you guys should watch out for my video on variables. Oh, I'm cooking something. Right. So once it is ready, you would definitely be notified. So if you have not subscribed yet, you can subscribe and turn on your notification uh, bell. Also like this video, so we can reach more people with these videos and tutorials. So I'm going to call this Note app slash black, and I'll call this 100 for now. Yeah. Then the subtitle text color, I'm going to style that. So I'll call it also Note app. I'll say black, still a shade of black. I'll call this disabled. That is a better way of uh, identifying what I need to work with right away. Um, so with that out of the way now, I can easily style this slider now with what I've just created. Notes, yes, the disabled, just like that. But if it is going to be too bold or too obvious, rather, I would have to change that. Let me style the color also, the primary color or the brand color, which is dominant on the app. I'll call this color and say primary, or maybe I'll just call it brand since we are just working with one major color all through uh the product. Yeah, we're just working with one major color all through. So I'll just call it brand, and that is established. So I think that with this I've styled the colors I would be working with, right? You'll see it across all of the screens. And I might have to adjust this the style here because what I have on the design is still lighter. You can see the shade is lighter. I'll just increase it by my own self, but it's lighter. So something like this now. Yep. And I will style this afresh. I could call this um I could call this placeholder, but actually that's not going to work. If you're going to do inputs, might not work, might not work. Um all right, so with that out of the way, I think we can now proceed to the next screen, which is what we have here says OCR. OCR, right? And this says fast and accurate. This is OCR scan, just like that. This skip, mm, I might want to reduce it. So let's do a 16, although that's small, but I think it's better. Funny enough, I did not even create margin for this product. So I think the margin I've been working with for other applications are going to be very, very handy, or it's going to be very handy rather, pardon that English. So with this, I think we are good. And since I've styled this, I can just give it the disabled state. Yeah, properly. Perfect. And with this, copy on this screen, just paste. Yeah, and it adjusts like that. I'm going to go with this now. I don't need to really bother myself. Paste here. And we'll rename this screen. All right. Oh, there's something we've not added, the sliders. So let's create the instance here. And it's looking small. Uh, it's looking small and it's looking too packed. So let's increase it a bit to 12. Looking like it, actually. It's looking like it. Then let's say we have it as a 8. Not bad. Sincerely, not bad. Not bad. But let's reduce the line gaps between 8. Right. Uh, that is, let's leave it at 12. All right. Something like this is perfect. So from here, paste here, and then we can duplicate this screen now. Right. For the third screen, the fourth, and the fifth. So here it says grid view, and here says vibrant and enjoyable, just like that. This says thumbnail, and it says ensure notes well structured. What am I typing? Struck. Structured. And finally, it says cover. So make notes pad more real. And we are through with the first stage. I think I would want to break this video into another series. Should I do that? Yeah, let me do that so it is not too lengthy. I will break this like this now, and then I'll come back to design or see how we can start working on the images we have on the screen. Disabled, disabled. That is a better way of uh, identifying what I need to work with right away. Um, so with that out of the way now, I can easily style this slider now with what I've just created. Notes, yes, the disabled, just like that. But if it is going to be too bold or too obvious, rather, I would have to change that. Let me style the color also, the primary color or the brand color, which is dominant on the app. I'll call this color and say primary, or maybe I'll just call it brand since we are just working with one major color all through the product. Yeah, we're just working with one major color all through. So I'll just call it brand, and that is established. So I think that with this, I've styled the colors I would be working with. Right, you'll see it across all of the screens, and all right. So welcome back, creatives, and let's I think this should be the final phase of what we are working on. Look at this. This is just like our wireframe without even intending to actually design a wireframe. But I've come to realize that all my works, I just find a way to design wireframes. I just find a way to just keep designing the wireframes. So let me hide the um, vectors, like the sketches I made on this file, on these designs, right? Now, mm, then I'll make a copy of this just like this. If I let me bring it down so it's closer. Yeah. Now this is going to eventually turn to our high fidelity, right? So looking at what we have here, I'm seeing that there's a bit of gap and there's a place for button. So for all of these, um, let's rename it to image order, right? Like that. I'll adjust it, something like that, and then I'll bring this up. All right, like this also. Let me see. What is the 43? Let's do 32. I think that is okay. Then we might eventually have to move this up also. 1, 2, 3. That's a 28. All right. Now we already have a button style. So that let's bring that in without any stress, right? Like this inside here. And I'll turn on there's no need though. It will automatically adjust. Yeah, that's it. Now I have to change the text here. So let me create a text property for the button inside for the button text, and that will be uh change button text. I'll say button text. Yep, like that. Let me make it a bit thick by increasing the weight. So now I can just stay like this, and from here I can check enter any text I want. It says enter notepad, just like that. Yeah. Now the final part of this design, we will definitely need to create a gradient. So let's start by first selecting the shade of color on the screen itself. That is one. That's, you can see that the surface is different now. This has a shade of white, and this is purely white in color. Um, okay, I just wanted to be sure that my we are still recording. So the next thing is create a blur effect. So let's draw a circle, not necessarily super perfect. Just come like that, take it to the back, and we have styled the color for this product already, right? Something like that. Then I would add an effect. I would add a kind of layer blur. Let me see what 150 is like. And I think that we will have to create a shade of this yellow. So let me reduce it from here, right? Just like that. I think something like this is okay, actually, right? And it's looking similar. Do I have to increase the blur effect 200? What's 200 like? Look at this. This is just like our wireframe without even intending to actually design a wireframe. But I've come to realize that all my works, I just find a way to design wireframes. I just find a way to just keep designing the wireframes. So let me hide the um, vectors, like the sketches I made on this file, on these designs, right? Now, mm, then I'll make a copy of this, just like this. If I let me bring it down so it's closer. Yeah. Now, this is going to eventually turn to our eye fidelity, right? So looking at what we have here, I'm seeing that there's a bit of gap and there's a place for buttons. So as simple as this is, I'll just copy this now or make it a component. Yeah, I would like to make that a component. So if I'm changing it, uh, everything changes. So I'll just create an instance of it now and bring it inside the screen. Yeah, something like that. And then around that area. Now all I have to do is to copy and paste it on the same position across all the screens. All I'll just do is select all the screen. Oh, I did not even rename this screen, so we will rename the screens now. Um, and then having selected all the screen, all I'll do is Control V, like paste, and take it to the back, and it applies to all the screens. Now, the final part of this, how many times have I said final? I don't know. All right. The final part, I believe, of this design is creating these guys. Now, trust me, this is going to take time. So, like I said, there's a very fast way. The fast way is this. I would crop each of these screen. That's the fast way. Like, I'm going to crop them, and this is what I would do to crop them. Holding your control key like that, right? Yeah, something like that. And then for this, I would ensure that it tallies with, like, or it aligns with the same height, and yeah, the same height across, uh in line with the former or the previous cropping. This is the first method. If we are to go the long method, that means we have to design all of this. I feel like this can work. Let's see. Right. And locking it down, like reducing. Did I reduce the opacity? Right. 38. Let's make this 38 also, or 40. How many is here? 16. Let's increase that to 40, 40. So uh this is now what's the size of it now? 423 in height. So I'm going to lock these, all of them, like that. 423 in height, then the weight is 355. So it's not bad, it's okay. So for me to properly get this done, okay, yeah, it's we'll get it done. So you can see that the shade from the cropping of that screen is obvious, but if I come here now, let me even just style this right away. So this is going to be like a notepad, note app. You can say white, and I'll say surface. So that is like the background of the screen. So with that established, I'll select all the screens and just apply the surface color style to it. Um, here we go, just like that, right? And it's looking really beautiful. Trust me. Uh, like I said, there's a fast way. I was really skeptical if I'll be able to push this design to success, but I think I'm trying. And let's tidy things up, right? Uh, Align everything by holding your shift key and align it to the center. Yep, like that. Then let them all be aligned to the top. And we want a 40. My keyboard. We want a 40 and 35. So because they are all on the same line, I can just adjust them together. One, two, three, four, five. Yeah, like that. And this is how we have redesigned this splash screen. So I think I would do one more thing. I'll prototype this. I'll prototype this. I really enjoyed this. So I'll write. I'll turn this to a cover. I really enjoyed working on this. Uh, so that's my keyboard for you. Um, all right. I think I can that. It should stop very soon. So cover. I told you it will stop. Thumbnail. Honestly, we grow by doing hard things. We become better by doing difficult things. And this is it. So I'm going to like to acknowledge the designer that worked on this app, please. So this is not my this screenshot are not for me. Uh like I started with their screenshot from a mobile app I installed on my mobile phone, and I woke up to check my mobile device, and on this app I saw that, oh, they're asking me to get on, but I was like, oh, let me try to recreate this. And I came here to do the magic I did not try before this. So let me know what you think about this design, everyone. And this is the original, this is the replicated. What do you think? All right. Thank you guys for staying tuned to this. And this is the end of this uh video, right? Like and subscribe, turn on your notification bell to get more there. All right. Till another time when I'll bring another design tutorial your way. Keep designing and keep getting better.